got this story in the Times, and it's quite hilarious. I mean, the Nagorny, the Times doesn't really square the circle here. It's really just, it's presented as like some Republican governors are seeing the light and realize that they have to compromise and raise taxes. Republican governors across the nation are proposing tax increases and backing off pledges to cut taxes as they strike a decidedly un-Republican pose in the face of budget shortfalls and pent-up demands from constituents after years of budget cuts. So, in other words, as opposed to them simply just abandoning this whole notion that if they cut taxes, it's going to raise revenues, which is not explicitly stated in that first paragraph. We're supposed to know that's the Republican ideology. They're looking decidedly un-Republican because what are they doing? Well, if you dig into the piece, you begin to realize what they're doing. Despite the fact that Governor Rick Snyder says it's not based on partisanship, it's based on common sense and good government. He's raising taxes. Oh, really? Is he raising income taxes on the wealthiest people? No. Oh, is he raising those corporate taxes that he cut early in his term? No. No, he's going to raise taxes on things like gas, or not so much in Michigan, but like things like sales taxes. Basically, the most regressive of all taxes. Nikki Haley of South Carolina, a Republican, she said she'd allow the state to raise its gas tax, but only if the legislature cut its income tax by almost a third. So essentially, she's saying, let's transfer the cost of government. And for reasons I've discussed in the past, I think the increasing the gas tax is a good idea, at least federally speaking. But she's using this to fund income taxes on the wealthiest amongst us. In Maine, Governor Paul LePage, he's decidedly non-Republican by calling for increasing the sales tax and subjecting more goods and services to taxation, but only to offset the cost of lowering the income tax and eliminating the estate tax, which hits 0.01% of the population. That's decidedly un-Republican, making taxes more regressive. The whole concept of a flat tax or a value-added tax, I should say, is incredibly regressive. But apparently that's not a Republican idea now. Of the states that cut their personal income taxes the most in the 90s, 3 grew more slowly than the average, and 3 others, all energy states benefiting from a rise in gas prices, grew more quickly, according to a recent study. So in other words, Kansas is the norm. You cut these taxes, and essentially you have sluggish growth, and you also have a state that has to begin to severely cut its services. This coming on the heels of a report by the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy that in 2015, the poorest fifth of Americans will pay on average 10.9% of their income in state and local taxes. The middle fifth will pay 9.4%, and the top 1% will average 5.4%. In other words, states and localities that rely on sales and excise taxes, that being other fees, have a regressive tax structure because those fees And those excise taxes and those sales taxes hit low income people the exact same proportion. Look, everybody's got to go buy certain things. And so it's a double whammy to increase sales tax, excise taxes, and then cut income tax on the richest. In 10 states, the bottom 20% of earners pay up to 7 times as much of their income in taxes as the top 1%. So this story about how these Republicans are being so decidedly un-Republican, nah, it's really just more of a fallback position. I mean, Mitt Romney in Massachusetts cut taxes and then just larded up on fees. Again, redistributing the cost of society onto poorer people. That's basically the plan. That's about as Republican as you can get, I think. That's old school Republicanism.